I would like to clarify something. When I said God is everything, I did not mean it in the pantheonistic kind of way. I was simply trying to express that everything came from him and that nothing exists without him or before him. I would also like to clarify that when I stated that everything came from energy, I should have said that everything came from spirit, a heavenly form of energy. Stating that God created out of nothing physical should not be misunderstood by the faithful as meaning that God did not create everything from himself, spirit. Everything we see has come from the invisible God who is eternal. I recognize that this is a slightly different way of framing it than how it is put in the Bible when it states that everything we see was not made from things that existed or were visible out of nothing. But I feel that it gives us a clearer understanding of how we and the world came into existence, since it is through the invisible God, who is eternal, that all things are made. Your faith is dead if it doesn't cause you to act upon it. Religions based on the belief that we are the children of God will not last because they are not based on the belief that we are the children of the one true God. If the Qur'an is the final message, and the resurrection is us learning of our begottenness, then the Qur'an, as the final message, needed to be changed to reflect it. The only thing you can accuse me of slightly altering or shading over a bit in order to present myself in a better light would be the whole situation dealing with my getting arrested. The shame of what I did wrong has kept me from being totally honest with you about it. I should never have lied and made it sound like it was a premeditated attempt to get myself purposely arrested as a means to destroy myself to keep the devil from using me to take over the world, or as a means to fulfill prophecy by getting arrested on a particular date. It was nothing more than a subconscious attempt to fill the void that was caused by losing my children. However, I do believe that God has forgiven me and that he still intends on using me to fulfill his plan of salvation, since all things work to the good for those who love the Lord. I pray to God, and I think I'm Jesus. However, it's the Holy Spirit that I feel the most affinity to, since the Holy Spirit is who and what God and Jesus really are. Thinking you have the power to do physical miracles is not an example of a strong faith, but a wrong faith, since it is based on a delusional belief system. Catholics do believe in salvation by faith. However, they don't believe in the doctrine of salvation by faith only, as put forth by the Protestants. All believers must submit their consciences to the authority of the Church. Holy obedience to ecclesiastical superiors is demanded. We are under the direction of the clergy. Does the offices of apostles, bishops, and deacons constitute a separate priesthood from that of the priesthood of all believers? I believe it does. The priesthood of all believers simply means that we as a group may now approach God as individuals. This does not mean there should be no ordained priests, since Jesus specifically chose some to be apostles from among his followers. Furthermore, the Bible also makes reference to those who serve in the offices of bishops and elders, which is further evidence that there are supposed to be those who are placed in a position of authority. Salvation is through the Church. The faith-only doctrine negates this fact. It is basically saying that you don't need the church to be saved, because then it would be in addition to faith. This was the primary reason it was pushed by the early Protestants as one of their dominant doctrines. It has very little to do with downplaying the need for works, as is now commonly thought, but rather was used as a way to get people to believe that they didn't need to be part of the church to be saved, which would weaken the church's influence and power, which is what they were really trying to do. I believe the Bible teaches that we need both faith and deeds of righteousness, works of love, to be saved. However, if I'm wrong, and all you need is faith, then at least I'm still going to heaven, because I had the faith only part. But if you are wrong, then you may be going to hell, because you may not have done the required deeds of righteousness, since you didn't think they were necessary. Jesus practiced the religion of Judaism. He did not come to start a new religion. Therefore, the Christian faith should closely resemble the Jewish faith in all ways, including its doctrines, morals, and worship services.